So Pam Bondi says that Jasmine Crockett needs to tread lightly when she's talking about Elon Musk, because Jasmine said that she wanted to see Elon taken down, and she wasn't referring to that as an act of violence. She meant that as far as him and his position of power. But of course now MAGA is trying to get on this high horse and throw all this fake outrage into the world, and actually has the gall to say to us that you need to tread lightly and choose your words carefully, because people might misinterpret that and turn it into an act of violence. Yeah, MAGA, they're the ones preaching that shit now. Roll this clip.
Okay, so if you talk about taking somebody out or taking them down or knocking somebody over the head and knocking them over the head hard, are those threats of violence?
Yeah, Sean, it is. And you know, after she said that about Elon, she said, well, I didn't mean violence. But, however, your words have consequences. And what happened after she said that about Elon Musk, she's a Texan in her own home state. After she said that, this morning, 3 explosive devices were found in Austin, Texas. So she needs to unequivocally denounce the violence. She must apologize immediately, not only to all Texans, but to our country, to the American shareholders of Tesla, because she is promoting violence. And then you showed the clip of what she said about Senator Cruz. I believe she probably will be censured by Congress for saying that. You know, people don't.
Donald Trump said to the Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. Elon Musk bought Twitter just so that he could allow people to say the N-word out loud. I don't want to hear anything from them about we should watch our words, or we should be mindful, or we should tread lightly because we might accidentally cause someone to go over here and do an act of violence, when they're the ones that was behind January 6th. Donald Trump pushing his lies and his conspiracies about the 2020 election is what got people so worked up that they honestly thought they could just take a vacation day, go to the Capitol, overthrow the government, go back to work. And he turned around and he pardoned those people, the people that were the violent criminals that day, the people that did beat up police officers. And so many of those people have turned around and went right back to jail. Why? Because they were violent people to start with. So I'll be damned if I'm ever going to sit here and let anyone in MAGA lecture us about language or bringing down the temperature in the room when they've done nothing but turn up the temperature. And Jasmine absolutely brings it in this next clip, responding to this ridiculous warning from Pam Bondi. Take a look.
So Pam Bondi, if you have an issue with terrorism, maybe you should talk to your boss about locking back up those guys that he let out that participated in January 6th.
When Pam Bondi, though, says, you know, tread carefully, what does that even mean?
Yeah. All it means is that she's attempting to get me to say, oh, I'm going to be scared and I'm just not going to say anything, because they are willing to literally break the law. I mean, that's what we've seen them do. They are ignoring court orders. They are ignoring what our own laws are. When we look at things such as impoundment, things like that, this entire administration is rogue. And this isn't about partisanship. I keep trying to tell people that we are living in the time of good versus evil, right versus wrong. And right now, when we are looking at the black letter of the law and they are deciding, I'm just going to ignore it, then they are wrong. That is clear as day. And right now, they are going after anyone who decides that they will challenge them, whether it's the judges that are sitting on the benches, whether it is lawyers that have decided that they were going to represent their clients to the best of their ability, and most of them won against Trump and his administration. Basically, they are trying to get rid of all voices of dissent.
I've said so many times here on the channel, we need people on our side that refuses to back down, and luckily we have Jasmine Crockett and a couple others that won't. And I hope that she always stays true to herself and doesn't back down. I can't see her doing it anytime soon, because she's one of the realest people that we got out there. So, you know, good for her. Good on her for not backing down on this one. We cannot let these people get on some sort of moral high ground now and tell us to bring down the temperature in the room. There's another clip that I want to play here that has got MAGA very upset at Jasmine because she poked fun at Greg Abbott. And yeah, now they're on this moral high ground that you can't make fun of anyone with a disability. Take a look.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes. Right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna move on because I got other people this also hot in these streets.
Now, I know there's going to be some people out there that's going to say, well, now, hang on a minute, Brando. You got mad when Trump mocked a disabled reporter, so you're kind of being a hypocrite about this. Why ain't you mad at Jasmine? Well, I ain't mad at Jasmine because Greg Abbott's a terrible human being. I'm sorry the dude's in a wheelchair, but he is a terrible governor and a terrible human being with terrible ideas, and I have no respect whatsoever for the dude. I'm sorry for his condition, but that's got nothing to do with the fact that he's a terrible human being. The reporter that Trump mocked was not a terrible human being. He was just somebody Trump disagreed with and wanted to make fun of, and his followers went around mocking the reporter and making fun of him, and still does to this day. So I'm not going to let them sit here and get on some sort of moral high ground now and try to make me feel bad or Jasmine Crockett feel bad for calling Greg Abbott names. Greg Abbott's a terrible person. The difference is Jasmine Crockett wouldn't say that about just anyone that was in a wheelchair. We're talking about a terrible human being. And MAGA is the last ones that should ever get on this moral high ground, but they will, and they'll throw all this fake outrage out there now, telling us to tread lightly, telling us to bring down the temperature in the room, telling us not to mock people. And if you go over on TikTok right now, it's pretty much unwatchable. And over on the dumpster fire that is X, these MAGA influencers are absolutely coming unglued and off the rails. They're trying to cancel Harry Sisson, a 23-year-old college influencer who was talking to 11 girls on Snapchat. Yeah, that's their villain in their world. We got to get this kid here who talked to 11 women on Snapchat. Oh my God, he's the biggest villain in the room. Yet they got Donald Trump for their president, who was found liable of sexual abuse and defamed the victim later. Look at how many people in Trump's cabinet has accusations against them. Look at Matt Gaetz, for crying out loud. Look at the guy in Minnesota that just got caught Chris Hansen style to catch a predator because he was trying to hook up with a 16-year-old girl. He thought he was talking to detectives, but thought he was talking to a 16-year-old. So they'll come off with all this fake bullshit outrage at something, and it's absolutely ridiculous. We don't ever look over at you and say, oh yeah, you have standards, because you don't. The idea that you're just trying to come out and find somebody to pick on and find something to throw back at somebody means nothing. And sitting here trying to throw this back on Jasmine Crockett now like she's some sort of bad person because she said something about Greg Abbott or because she said Elon ought to be taken down. She wasn't advocating for violence. But Donald Trump's the one that got up there and told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. Donald Trump's the one that said back in my day they used to knock them over the head. And he could say they've sat and mocked, Nancy Pelosi's husband. They've done everything. I don't even have time in the day to sit here and go back down the list of all the shit that they've come at. But the main difference between us and them, yeah, we're boycotting Tesla, which I'm saying that out loud, but I'm never going to be able to afford a Tesla. But I don't want the company. I have nothing against the company. What I have is against Elon Musk. I don't want to see him succeed. It's not the company. I don't have a problem with the Tesla company or the Tesla cars. What I have a problem with is Elon Musk and his ideology and the kind of people he gives a platform to and the kind of people he backs and what he's doing behind closed doors. So when you got people on our side out here boycotting Tesla, it's because of the content of Elon Musk's character and what he's actually trying to do to our country behind closed doors. He's been given this permission slip now to just go in and take a chainsaw to everything, and he's doing it. And that's what people are upset about. They're upset about the fact that he's coming after their Social Security. He's coming after everything that they paid in. That's why people are pissed. This isn't Kid Rock getting mad over the Bud Light can. That's a completely different thing. Kid Rock got mad at the Bud Light can because Bud Light put a trans person on a can, and because Kid Rock's a bigot who said, hey, I don't agree with that person's lifestyle. That's the hypocrisy of all of this. It's all just blatant hypocrisy. And anytime I see them throwing out their fake outrage and trying to tear somebody on our side of the aisle down, I don't even blink. Because they have so many more massive skeletons and massive blunders on their side than we'll ever have. We can't compete with that shit. We cannot compete with what they do. And every time I cover a story here on the channel, I always tell people, hey folks, this is today's crazy story, but before the day's over, there'll be another one, and we'll probably forget about the crazy story. I don't remember what the crazy story was last Thursday. Don't remember what it was because there's so many of them coming at us. Steve Bannon said they would flood the zone, and that's one thing that they absolutely have kept their promise on. And Trump has definitely kept his promise on being a dictator on day one. But I'm never going to sit here and entertain Pam Bondi and her fake outrage, and I'm never going to entertain the fake outrage of all these people now suddenly got a problem with Jasmine Crockett. It's absolutely ridiculous. Jasmine Crockett's a fighter. She'll keep swinging, and the rest of us will too. And we don't want to see an American company destroyed. We just don't want to see an oligarch rule over us. We don't want to be ruled by billionaires. We didn't vote for that shit. There's a massive difference in the two. And the people that can't see through the two, I don't really even feel like trying to explain it to you anymore, to tell you the truth.